Hello. So this was a really cool experience, in my opinion, getting to interview different family members, close friends, and to kind of see and kind of dive into what their perspectives are on this topic. And so to just give a little background, I interviewed 13 females, 7 males, one high school student, 14 young adults. So that was the majority of people that are living around me. That are down in St. George with like different friend groups and school. And then 3 adults and 2 elderly people. So to start off with their definitions, majority, I counted 16 out of 20 people defined it as basically something inside you to cause you to take action and do something about the situation you're living in and to strive to do better, basically. And then the other 4 had kind of been a little similar but different than the majority. And one was talking more about, or 2 said more about the happiness of like motivation, that it gives them happiness, which was different, and also like gives them inspiration. It's like stemming from that happiness and inspiration, and kind of how to push past what you think you are capable of achieving and to push through it. So that was really cool. And it's funny because when you take a second to like think about motivation, everybody naturally has motives, but to become aware of them, I think, is a huge game changer. And so it was kind of fun to talk to them, and we talked more about their personal life and what's kind of caused them through different ups and downs to keep them motivated. So that kind of leads into the purpose of how one is going to continue to stay motivated through different things they're experiencing. And so another big chunk, 17 out of 20 people said that the purpose was to accomplish their goals and progress towards where they want to be. So then the other 3 were a little bit different, and one talked about the purpose was to overcome doubt and fear, which really stood out to me because most people just were like, yeah, like I want to find, goals and I want to accomplish them and find this path where it's going to lead me to something good. But before you can do that, the purpose is first finding those doubts and those fears and being able to push through them. And sometimes to, let's see, how do I word it? Find your motivation, you have to break through those things. And so that just kind of leads back to the whole purpose of it. And so that was like different. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And then, let's see. Then there were 2 of those 3 different people that were not the majority, said the purpose is to have the right intentions behind our actions. And that to me would be the stem in knowing what you want to do or need to do to put it together with the others. And they talked about valuing pure motives so you don't get burnt out, knowing yourself and what you value or see as worth. So that was really cool to kind of see how they dove more into the core of it and how you want to know yourself and figure out, okay, I can't keep pushing myself towards something that isn't good for my health where you're getting burnt out. And an example of this could be like sports, where for me, I played soccer for so long, and in high school I was getting to the point where I was just so burnt out that I didn't want to do it anymore. But I found a balance, and I had these intentions that I was like, okay, I need to know my why. Why am I doing the things I'm doing? Why am I playing sports? And I took a chance to play a different sport on a different path. And I think that saved me because I got to take a break from soccer, and then my love was still, it was refound, I guess you could say. So there's just an example. Hopefully that makes sense. And then this part I really loved, the asking questions about what really motivated them, the 3 main things. And the main motives that I received overall were family, health, money, faith, religion, and self-improvement, which to me are all so spot on. Like, I feel like all those things make a person who they are and how they live their life. And I think they all contribute to motivation and how we continue to live each day with purpose and desire to want to live the life we want, you know? And so one person had a really cool response and said the 3 things that were different from the rest. She said, love motivates us, pride motivates us, and fear. And I was like, whoa, those are all, I think those are the main like tiers of what all of the other things fall under. For example, love, when people talk about relationships or what they get them motivated. And then pride, I think that's more of we do things for our own benefit because of our pride. And then fear, because we see that we need to do something so the consequence doesn't get us, kind of a thing. So I thought that was really cool. And then just like overall, like reflecting on this, it was a really cool opportunity, like I said earlier, to kind of see the people I'm closest with and to kind of open up and see their motives and connect it with who they are. It's just such a special question because thinking about it, it seems like a broad question that could just be answered like that, but at the same time, it's also makes somebody vulnerable, which I think I noticed when I was asking people. They kind of hesitated to kind of see like, oh, how much should I actually tell her about this? Because these things that motivate us are super personal and they're so individualized, but at the same time, we all have the same basic needs, and motivation is just something that I think helps us become who we are. And so it was just a really cool experience. And one last thing I want to talk about is that kind of puts it all together is one person that I interviewed, his purpose that he talked about. And he said, motivation is a feeling of confidence and excitement to accomplish something. It made me think twice about the feeling of connectedness to motivation and how our motivation is so individualized, kind of like I said. And it's cool because motivation really is a feeling inside we get, and you can't really describe it sometimes. And a lot of motivation is action oriented, you know? And the only difference I can think of comparing my participants' answers with my view on motivation is that for me, taking this class, it has opened my eyes to the actual processes of how one uses motivation in different ways, just different theories that we've learned. And so I think that's the only difference. I think as humans, we naturally know what motivation is, but to become more aware of it can really change our lives. So, yeah.